For the first time, you'll see a balanced topical authority score, so you can measure where you stand, who's winning, and what to publish next. The topical authority feature turns your topical map into a scoreboard and a plan. So when you first get to the topical authority page, you'll see a few next steps. The first step being adding other names your brand is known by to improve the AI overviews detection for mentions and citations. You can do this later, it's an optional step, but we do recommend you do it now so that you can add various names and abbreviations and acronyms that your brand might be known for and that AI overviews might use for your brand. So for Floyi, it will take the brand name that you set in the brand foundation stage, and you can add various brand aliases here. For Floyi, we'll use Floyi. We can maybe even use Floyi.com. You can always do this step later in the settings once you finish your first calculation. You can also get started right away with enabling your schedule, but we'll cover that later. So after you've added any brand aliases, go ahead and click Save Settings. It'll give a quick save, and you'll see a message down here, Settings Save Recalculate. You don't have to click Recalculate yet because you don't have the full SERP data and AI overviews yet. So go ahead and click out of the box. The next step will be actually calculating all the metrics like coverage, visibility, share of voice, and your topical authority score across your topical map. And because it does take some time, as you can see by the estimated time, you'll get an email when it's done. So you don't have to sit here and watch. And for the first calculation, you'll also have this link to click to this actual video that you're watching now. And when your first fetch of SERPs and all the metric calculations are done, you'll see a screen similar to this. Now, this has a lot more data in it, so you'll have a lot less data when you do it the first time. But then as you go through, you'll be able to accumulate all this data and the charts will fill out a lot more. Let's minimize the sidebar here so you can see a little bit more. First, let's take a look at what we have on the screen here. We have your main brand domain, how many topics are in your topical map. You have two tabs here, Scorecard and Planner. Scorecard here shows you your summarized performance overview. You'll have competitors that you want to track here compared to your own brand. And then you have the leaderboard here. You can go up to 100, but you can see here 3,591 domains. That means there are 3,591 domains ranking in the top 20 in your 427 unique topics in the topical map. Reddit.com is your biggest competitor, and you can see the rankings of all of your domains, and they're ranked by visibility and share of voice. Let's go through some of these really quick. The topical authority score combines all of these different scores together based on the content authority and the search results that you have. It's not based on backlinks or domain authority or domain ratings from different tools. It's based on your published content, the coverage of your content, how important the content is to your brand and your audience, and your brand visibility and share of voice. This number here is based off of the number of pieces of content you've published plus the importance of content. If you were to hover over this, you'll just see the weighted count coverage is just 12.9%, but the importance coverage also happens to be 12.9% in this case. So if you're publishing a lot of low value topics, low importance topics, this number will be lower than your pure count coverage. So don't be surprised if your published coverage is low just because you're only publishing long tail keywords. And so you'll have less of an impact on your topical authority overall. Brand visibility shows you how big your search footprint is. It combines a lot of different variables, rank weights, what position you're in, the importance of the topics that you're ranking for, and what level of your topical hierarchy in your topical map is the topic. The brand share voice is simply a share of the brand visibility to your competitors and to the overall market. So you can see here, Reddit ranks for 113 topics in the top 10. And then they rank for 152 in the top 20. The top 20 number is inclusive of the top 10. There are actually 39 from positions 11 to 20. How many common topics Reddit and your brand are ranking for? And then how many unique URLs there are that are ranking out of these 152 topics. So this presence here is actually the presence of topics in your topical map. So they're ranking for 35.6% of the topics in your topical map. Your visibility, your share of voice, the estimated organic traffic for the site, how many AI overviews Reddit is mentioned in, how many AI overviews reddit.com is cited in. Mentioned is mentioned in the response of the AI overviews, while citations mean that the URL is in the sources list. So you could see here, let's see, where is Reddit for the mention? So Reddit is mentioned right here. Prioritize brand mentions. And then reddit.com is also cited here. Okay, so that's the citation. This is a mention. And sometimes you're cited and mentioned. When you head over to the planner tab, which we'll see in a bit, we also have a field that tells you that you're mentioned and cited. And then highlighted in blue will be your brand. Okay, so some of this is mock data, and that's why you'll see like 36 top 20 topics, but only one unique URL. Then you could change this for how many you want to show. You could search for domains if you want. If you just want to see Reddit, for example, you just start putting in RED and you can start seeing Reddit. But you quickly see which of these are ranking in your niche, in your industry, and which of them are more visible. And you'll notice some things like you'll see that this domain, top rank marketing, is only ranking for 9 topics in the top 20. But the reason it has a higher visibility is because they're ranking for the higher level topics in your topical map. So they're going to have more of a presence and visibility in the search engines. Okay. And that's why you may see something like, well, LinkedIn here has a lot, but even developers.google.com, their site has only 40 in the top 20, and they have 0.42% visibility. And even though the visibility percentage seems a little bit low, it's an absolute performance percentage. So the visibility, the leaders in large maps often show single digit visibility numbers. It's normal because the math just favors more realistic rank weights and breadth. And then when you want to track certain competitors, they'll be here to yours. So maybe you just want to track the top competitors, and then maybe you want to track, here's topicalmap.com, that's also ranking. I pull rank, maybe take them. We don't have the data for all of the competitors because a lot of this is mock data, but you'll be able to click through these different metrics and see your comparison to them. And with the table, you can also see the same numbers as the table down here. You just don't have to go searching through the larger list. And here you'll be able to change your time frame, and all these sparkline charts will adjust as well. You can export your top 100 list. You can export your main competitors as well. You can also export the chart to a PNG file. Okay, and here you can see that in the planner tab, we have our full topical map. We have the 4 levels of the topics. We have the importance of each of these topics within your topical map that's important to your brand, your audience, your industry, and everything. In the SERPs, these will show you the top 20 SERPs. You can click on, it'll show you your ranking position. Plus, it'll show you the number of top 20 results in the first 2 pages. Okay. So here you can see these have 18 different results and their page titles, their SERP titles, URLs, and then there's SERP snippets that they have, which, as you know, are often rewritten meta descriptions or little summaries written by the search engines nowadays. Then you'll have an AI overviews column that shows if you're being cited or mentioned in your AI overviews. And there's 2 different values here, not present and an A as well, not applicable. So an NA means that for this particular query, building a topical map, there was no AI overview present when the SERP was fetched. But not present means that there was an AI overview present, but there was no mention or citation for your brand. You can click it and still see what keyword query was used when it was fetched, and then you can see the different citations that they have. So there are 25 different citations here mentioned. Here we also have an expand all and collapse all. You can expand everything to open up the 4 different levels of your topical map: the pillar, which is the main topic; the cluster, which is subtopic 2; the topic level, which is subtopic 3 level; and page, which is subtopic 4 level. So you can see here the importance of some of these topics to your brand and to your audience. You can see here the credits based and usage pricing models for AI tools is not as relevant for your particular brand. What you can do is you can keep the expand all view and then click these different filters that we have. You can click the high importance. So these are all the different topics that are of high importance, right? Then you can, and why you still see some of these lows is because some of the higher important topics for you are also organized under another level. Okay, so this topic intent and search volume estimation is organized under this future trends in AI search. Other filters we have are not found in SERPs. So where your brand is ranked high, where your brand is ranked 4 to 10, where your brand is ranked 11 to 20 because they're higher opportunities, where your brand has a brief already, and I'll show you that in a second in this actions column. And your pillars, if you collapse all again, you'll see that you have 4 main pillars which match your 4 main topics from your topical map. And you'll see that these 4 main pillars are not well covered. So you can see here in this first column, we have this little publish toggle that if it's gray, it means that you haven't published yet. But if you want to mark it as published, all you have to do is click it. And in a second, it will turn green. You'll be able to quickly see which pieces of content you've published or not published. You'll be able to track how well it's doing in the SERPs. Now, in the actions column, we have a couple buttons here. We have an I column, which brings up a side drawer for this particular topic, optimizing for AI search. Okay, you can see the level, the priority here, which is high, the existing brief here, which is complete already, or you can create a new brief if you want. You can also publish and unpublish it. It's the same thing as the toggle that we just did. You can see the performance metrics, the same thing that you have on the main table. You can see the content strategy that comes from the topical map portion. So you have your content title. And if you created the other content information from the topical map tool and URL slugs, you'll be able to see all that information here as well. In keywords and metrics, you'll be able to see all the clustered keywords that are within your pillar. So these are all the ones where they have high SERP similarity clustered during the clustering phase. You can use them in your content. You can use them as anchor text. And the internal link suggestions here is huge. This is one where you'll be able to see your parent topics, your same topics on the same level, and your child topics, right? The topics that you are organized under this current topic of optimizing for AI search that we're looking at. It'll give you suggestions on what you can link to and how relevant they are. So you can see this optimizing content for AI answer generation has a high relevance to this optimizing for AI search. So it'll give you all the relevant ones. Let's show one on a lower level. Let's see, competitor gap analysis with AI keyword comparison. So you can see here, this is not published. You can see the keywords and metrics. And then here we'll have different levels of keywords here. We'll have a parent level, which is optimizing for AI search. Then we'll have related topics, which are on the same level. And you'll be able to see the relevance of each of these topics. It's easier to find the different pieces of content that you should be linking to because of their high relevance. And here you could just mark them as linked so that your writers and your editors will know that this article was linked to that article. I'll show you one here where you can see the subtopics. You'll have the parent topic, you'll see the same level related topics, and then you'll see your subtopics. And then here we have the content brief buttons. A blue content brief button means that you can generate the content brief. And this generate content brief process is similar to the standalone brief generator that we have. You'll go through, you'll be able to select competitors from the top 20. And we max it out at 7 because if you select too many other competitors, you're diluting your own content and you're eventually going to start cannibalizing yourself as well. So you want to select the ones that are really relevant and focused to what your piece of content should be about. So we can select here how many we want. We can select our brand personas. Again, we want to keep it focused. So we're only selecting 2. You can add different keywords here. If your topic had a lot of different keywords, you'll see them here, so you can add them to the list if you want. The next step is the internal link suggestions. You'll be able to see them here. You'll be able to mark them as you want to link to them in your content brief. And so the content brief AI agents will go through each of these internal link suggestions, and they'll go through the topics and what they're about, and then they'll suggest in the content brief which sections a link should go to. It'll give you the anchor text, it'll give you the topic that you should be linking to. You can also see the stage that an article is in. If it's been published, you'll be able to see that, or if it hasn't been published yet, you'll see it in draft mode here, a draft tag. You can also add any notes here that you want. We'll make it more robust in the future. And then next thing, you just click generate brief. And depending on the AI model used, the cost of the credits will be shown over here right by the generate brief button. And here, when it's green, it means you've already generated a content brief. So you can click it to view the content brief that you have. And then you have buttons down here where you can copy as a markdown or you can download it as a text. We also have the content outline. So this is just the outline if you want a quick view of the general structure of the article. So you can see here that each of these sections have the header, the goal of the section, each of these bullet points that give you the details of what you should be talking about and creating in this section. And it'll give you the keywords that are suggested to add in this section. And you can see the count suggestion. And then if you had internal links that you wanted to add, they would be down here as well. And then we have a couple more buttons here. Refresh SERPs. You can manually fetch new SERPs anytime you want, and it'll refresh the metrics in the scorecard tab. And then you have your settings. So in your topical authority settings, and you saw this earlier, you can set your brand aliases. You can see here, I've added a few more. I've added the topicalmap.com. I've added Yao Yao, my name, for personal branding purposes, a Floyi app to see if anyone adds the word app after, or if anyone cites the actual domain in the AI overviews. Then here, you can schedule SERP refreshes. Okay, you can enable SERP refreshes. You can make it daily at a certain time, and these are UTC. You can see your local time here. And then, or you can make it weekly. You can select multiple days of the week. So I want to do it 4 days a week. I would suggest you start off with weekly, especially if it's a new site, because you're not going to have a lot of metrics. And if you want to save credits this way, especially for large maps with hundreds of topics, doing it once a week is more than enough. If you are in a volatile niche, then maybe you'll want to do it 3 times a week. And you'll always be able to see your estimated credits down here. So you can set your time, you can set the country, language, and location. And these are also grabbed from your brand as well. So they'll already be pre-filled with certain locations or languages and country that you have. And these are the estimated monthly credits. Obviously, this is how many days a week over 4 weeks. And since there are often more than 28 days in a month, just know that you'll need a little bit more credits depending on the month. And anytime you don't have sufficient credits or SERP refresh fails, you'll get an email that lets you know that you need to top up your credits if you want to SERP refresh. Another thing you could do is, if you were to add more brand aliases here and you want to recalculate, but you don't need to fetch new SERPs, what you can do is change your brand alias. If I remove 2 of them and I click Save Settings, in a second, you'll be able to see an extra option down here. You can see now there's an extra option down here for recalculate, right? And how many credits it takes. And then what it will do is it'll recalculate using the existing SERPs that you have, the latest one, and look for these new brand aliases within the AI overviews that we have over here. This is where you'll see the mentioned, cited, not present, or NA. Okay, and if you hover over it, you'll see the tooltip of the different ones. Okay, great. And that is the topical authority overview. And now you'll be able to see the full strategy flow. We start with your brand identity, your brand foundation that sets everything up downstream. Audience insights, you create detailed buyer personas. Similar to your ideal customer profiles, you'll be able to generate relevant keywords and topics here with topical research that are directly relevant to your brand and your audience. Then we go through the SERP clustering of those keywords and topics to ensure that they are grouped by SERP similarity and search intent. And in Topical Map, you're able to generate your topical hierarchies up to 4 levels. You're able to analyze the SERPs and generate content information like titles, buyer's journey, search intent, and more. And then you're also able to generate your L slugs for each of them. And finally, in the topical hierarchy, for the first time, you're now able to easily manage your topical map, content briefs, measure how well your content is doing in search engines and AI overviews. You're able to see all that from one platform in a logical, smart flow.